It has been a long road, many years, but finally the Emperor breaks camp on his way to begin the final campaign to reclaim the remainder of the Empire back from the dwarves. Averheim will soon be his, and he can finally be at peace, for that is all he has ever wanted. Hello and welcome back to Fireside Improv. This is Chapter 47, the finale of this Karl Franz saga. It has been a long time coming, but the Emperor is finally preparing himself for that final march.
On march! Yes, my lord.
Eldred is going to be joining him.
Pick up the pace!
The northern part of the Empire and Kislev is now fully secure.
Praise Sigma!
The armies are going to march back into Empire territory for well-deserved rest, going back to their homes, back to their families. And one more army is going to be raised.
This will bolster the nation.
To help against Averheim.
What does the Emperor bid?
Ready to burn them. Let us forge our faith. What do you require?
To the provinces?
The Empire.
The nation calls.
Who calls?
The Emperor is ready to officially declare war on the dwarves. As before, he does not wish to have a giant war across all of the old world. It is not something still that should happen.
Yes.
And so,
Sigmar's
he is
wrath
going to
of
go
little
to his
consequence to
old
me,
enemies,
mortal.
who are at war with the dwarves, and offer to join them. He is going to try to get Karak Norn back. He has not forgotten all of the hardship that Orion and Durthu had once caused. If he is going to do this, he at least wants to get this back a little bit, to safeguard the future of the Empire.
I will.
And so the woods have been pushed out of the Grey Mountains. The other allies of the dwarves recognize what the Emperor is trying to achieve.
By the comet!
And so they agree to stay out of the war for the
Summon
good
the Elector Counts!
of the old world.
To war!
I will marshal the men.
The Emperor is ready for his assault on Averheim. His siege towers have been constructed, and he hopes that his army alone will be enough to take down the stubborn dwarves, who do have some contingencies of elves alongside. The Emperor flies forward to start the assault as his mortars and steam tank start to do some work on the towers, loosen some things up before the main assault. The Empire isn't doing anything particularly different in this assault, although the vast majority of the army is handgunners and ranged units, which isn't ideal for assaulting a settlement, but that's what they have, so they will make do. For some reason, the dwarves think it's a good idea to throw their grenades into a bunch of dwarves and one emperor. Not all that bright. The Emperor sees the enemy general, the enemy lord, and decides to go right after him. If he can take down their leader, the rest should crumble. They try to shoot him with some arrows, but they bounce harmlessly off of his armor. With the defenders being weakened up, the siege towers do start to roll forward towards the walls. And another hole is made to help cavalry and gunners make their way in. The handgunners have also moved forward to climb onto the walls, and the true battle has fully begun. And the dwarves have given up the fight. The city has been returned to the Empire, it has been liberated, and all the residents are rejoicing inside of their house, waiting for the danger to be completed so that the Emperor might throw a grand party to commemorate the event. While the Emperor was taking Aberheim, Eldred was making his way over to Flensburg, though he cannot quite reach just yet and does have to make camp, leaving just Grenstad unaccounted for. After breaking camp, Eldred makes the final push into Flensburg, easily overwhelming the defenders. And the new general, Marius Wagner, starts the push towards Grenstad to finally make the Empire whole. Well, it seems the dwarves are not ready to just roll over immediately. They are coming down from their mountains. And so the new Lord Marius does retreat in order to help some defense,
Summon the elected
while the
counts.
Emperor is the one
Into
who
battle.
marches for the last
It is
settlement.
time. Step to it.
Brook Starkeeper comes down from the mountains to attack the Gristled Valley settlement and claims it. With the Gristle Valley up in the Grey Mountains, they are okay with having it taken by the dwarves. It is not a part of the Empire proper. And so with the Emperor taking the final settlement of the Empire proper, he reaches back out to the dwarves
To battle?
By my
and
hammer, I
sees
should
if
slay you
he
where
can
you stand.
negotiate a peace. Offering Karak Norn and a bunch of money, they will apparently not quite accept it. And so the war will continue for the time being. But it is now a war of defense instead of one of offense.
It is for the best.
Marius seeks to perhaps push a little bit more. And see if perhaps that tilts
Only true vengeance will make me
the
happy.
opinion
Is that
just
what
a
you
little
offer?
bit more. And with a different settlement, apparently they will take it. And so,
I will help.
the war with the dwarves has ended. And just for good measure, the Emperor will gift the dwarves
Very
Karak Norn
well.
as well, so that the Grey Mountains are back in the hands of the dwarves, as he attempted to do so many, many years ago. But finally, it has happened. Celebrations erupt across the Empire as word spreads that the last settlement has been reclaimed and that the Empire is now whole. It has been many, many, many long years since the threats began. But now finally, peace has been achieved. The borders are secure. There are no more greenskins. The plague lands have healed. The vampires have finally been banished, and Sylvania is now free of their corruption. The dead stay where they should in their graves. And the dwarves are at peace with the realms of men once again. To the west of the Empire, the Bretonnians had their own battles against the dead, against themselves, and against orcs and greenskins. and they have prevailed and have forged a mighty empire. In the woods, Durthu and Orion try to hold off the dwarves who have pushed into the woods. That animosity will not fade anytime soon. The southern realms of men fell before the onslaught of Skaven, but the Bretonnians did come to liberate them, and they have been at peace once again. And the undead pirates that once threatened the shores have been dealt with. The border princes still remain strong and at peace with the nearby dwarves. And men are flourishing everywhere. In the frozen lands of Norska, the threats never truly go away. Beastmen still roam nearby the outposts of the Empire. Norskins themselves are still there, but are not terribly organized. They have tried to start rebuilding, but whether or not they will be permitted to do so is still up for debate by the human alliances. Beyond the World End Mountains, the dwarves are in battle amongst themselves. The Chaos dwarves are strong, and the dwarves of Karak Kadrin do battle against them to try to banish chaos as far away as they possibly can. The Chaos Dwarves once threatened deeper towards the old worlds, but they have been resisted. Further south, elves have also expanded their influence and have erected great cities in these wastes, and have also taken Karak 8 Peaks. While they have been staunch friends with the dwarves throughout these trying times, the fact that they hold the great, potentially greatest prize of the dwarves means that this is going to be a point of conflict in the future. Already the Emperor seeks to make peace between them and have the elves give it up, but the elves are just as stubborn as the dwarves and they refuse. This will come to blows eventually. Beyond the Mountains of Morn, in the far east, the men there have entirely fallen. Chaos Dwarves have taken most of Kislev, and what they haven't taken is ruled by Chaos and demons. The plague lands that once haunted the Empire still haunt the south of Cathay. Few humans are left, and those that are struggle with those poisonous fumes of industry and of plagues. Greenskins have been purged from the Badlands. It is controlled from a mix of dwarves, of tomb kings, and of human settlements. It is not a particularly rich land, so there is not much fighting over it. In the Tomb King's home, men of Bretonnia continue to push on, and as the dangers further north have subsided, more and more Bretonnians answer the call to purge the undead from these sandy lands. Further south, it is still gripped with chaos forces. The elves do battle with it, but it is fully corrupted by the Siegian followers. Across the sea in Lustria, the lands have been nearly fully taken back by the lizardmen, who guard their coasts very, very carefully, although there is one foreign power that still remains. Men have still found a home and do their best to ward off the lizardmen. Tyrion and Ilaria, the Everqueen, were effective at bringing peace to the Elven lands. Their island has been a beacon of peace and prosperity over these years, while other lands fought against the demonic tides, the chaos tides. The elves have been largely at peace on their island, though they have pushed across to do battle with the Dark Elves. Malekith's fortresses still stand. He has aligned himself with chaos forces as well. Nagaroth still stands strong, and in his fortress, Malekith wonders if he will ever be able to reclaim his rightful seat as High King, as Phoenix King of the Elves. The Elector Count of the Empire has been set, with the Emperor Karl Franz in his seat at Altdorf.
Of course.
Gustav Strudebacher has been granted the seat in Middenland. And although Theodric lost many, many fights, he never wavered in his support of the Empire. And no matter how many wounds he took, he pounced right back, and he has been allowed to retain his title as Elector Count of Nordland. And while Valmir von Raukov once upon a time did fight against the Emperor, he did submit and remained loyal in the fight against chaos. Ralph Koch was given the title of Elector Count of Talabecland, where he will reign. He rose high and is the right-hand man of the Emperor. And down south, Balthazar Gelt did do enough to retain his title. He is still ruling Faldorf and is the head of the wizards of the Empire.